Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and in today's video I want to talk about emulation devices, ROMs, the legality of them, and something I found a little odd recently. So I went ahead and I bought one of these. This is an anbernic RG35XXH, and I bought it from what I thought was a UK company, What Geek UK. Turns out it was still shipped from China, so it took a little while to get here. And I bought this particular model because I liked the design of it, and it's got twin thumbsticks. And when I got it, well, actually I bought the 128 gig model, so it normally comes with a 64 gig micro SD card, but it also came with 128 gig. So I've got two micro SD cards, which I assumed would be empty. But if we turn this on, you'll see that it didn't. It came stacked with, well, from what I can see, about 5,000 ROMs covering various different systems. So on this one you can do Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Master System, Mega Drive, NES, Super Nintendo, Neo Geo, Dreamcast, Saturn, GameCube, and I thought, great, that's great. I've got a bunch of games in there. I'll be able to play them on the go. But if you go into the game rooms and it asks you what SD card you want to use, if I pick the first one, you'll see that there is a huge list. Now it says PSP and PS1 on this thing. Go into PSP, and there's this massive list of games all preloaded onto the device when I bought it. And it's the same for every system. If we go into PS1, there's just this massive list. Some big name titles on there, not sort of these knockoff ones that you normally see. And it seems to be a common thing. You can buy an emulation device, whether it's something like this anbernic or one of the Mayus, or if it could be one of these cheap ones that you can get from somewhere like Temu or Walmart. Yes, I said Walmart even though I'm in the UK, but I did notice that someone else bought one of these £10 cheap emulation machines from Walmart, and the same with theirs. It came preloaded with all these ROMs, some good ones, some really naff ones, and I just can't understand the legality of it. How can a company who are supposed to be quite a legit company, so this is anbernic, knock out a device, not a cheap device? Some of these, I mean, this was a mid-priced one. I paid about £50 for this, but they do some high-end ones, and they're a couple £100. How can they knock out devices and then cram them with these ROMs? What's the legality regarding the ROMs that are sitting on here? Now, I've been into emulation for quite some time, and my understanding of it is that you can play emulated games as long as you own the physical cartridge or the disc. There's two SD cards on this. If we go back and we pick number 2, number 2 also came with about 2,500 ROMs sitting on it, and they're gone. Haven't kept them. On here are just the ones that I own. So I've got a PSP game, it's FIFA. I've got a PS1 game, actually I've got a couple there. It is FIFA 2001, Everybody's Golf, and C12 Resistance. I physically own the discs for these games. So that was my understanding of ROMs, and the legal grey area is that you have to own the disc or the cartridge or whatever, and then you're kind of allowed to download the ROM. The other area of it is that that's not quite as straightforward. You actually have to rip your disc and make a ROM yourself. So I don't know. Either way, buying an emulating device like this and it coming with 5,000 games covering, and let's just have a look, let's see what systems were actually on this. So we've got PSP, PS1, arcade, CPS, I'm not sure what they are, Capcom things I think, Neo Geos, more Neo Geos, MAME, Game Boy Advance, NES, Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, whatever you call it. That's a Master System, Mega Drive, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, PC Engine, Neo Geo Pocket, Game Gear, oh, and Wonder Swan. This machine came with about 5,000 ROMs already pre-installed, ready to go, and it seems to be that a lot of machines do. And I could kind of get it if you're buying one of these cheap Chinese knockoffs. They don't really care about patents or anything like that. They're just in it for making some money. But a big company like Anbernic, who've got quite a good reputation, they don't knock out cheap naff devices. This is an absolutely superb machine. How do they get away with it? Is it them, or is it the company that you buy it from? So do Anbernic just send them the machines, and then places like, or wherever I got mine from, WhatGeek, do they load the ROMs on? Not entirely sure. And how are they getting away with it? I can kind of see why maybe Sega aren't picking up a fuss, because, well, they don't really exist anymore. But Nintendo are generally pretty hot on other people stealing their IPs and their names, and they're very hot on cracking down on emulation. I mean, they shut down the Yuzu, the Switch emulator recently, and it took a lot of other developers with it because they got sort of scared. So how are they still letting this go on? And it's a puzzler. I mean, you do buy one of these so you can play lots of ROMs, but I actually bought it so I could play my games, the games I own, just in a more portable format. So how do companies who sell devices like this get away with loading it up with absolutely thousands and thousands of quite clearly copyrighted games that are owned by either Nintendo or Sega or whatever company that they're from, like Capcom, etc. How do they get away with it? How have they not been pulled or shut down so far? If someone can answer that question, then let me know. But if you're in the market for buying an emulation device, get one of these. They come with about 5,000 games. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.